under the rug. Our desk has covered exactly why G2 looked so damn strong on it. And now we jump into our second map. This is what the one G2 chose to play.
Yes, indeed. It really didn't go well for 100 Thieves in that first map. They'll enter the T side on Dust. And it's not the best entrance, but they do make up for it. A trade towards lower B, a nice shot from Liaz does keep them competitive in the round here, but they only have a couple of flashbangs remaining. There are 2 smokes, however, they make their way up towards short. And Chad talked about the reactive play on Dust too. They were very good on that Mirage. We'll see if that works out here as Nexa and Kenny S. Do they consider their options here? Do they want to push at all or hold strong towards the car and the pit?
Does look like Kenny will be on the receiving end of not only a flashbang, but 3 bodies crossing, and they have managed to get quite wide. 1 for 1, they'll take that. The Thieves can now get the bomb down. 3 versus 3. JKS, however, somewhat of an independent force. On the other side of the map, we'll be looking to get this timing right. If he can get it right, it's the round 1. Amanek, you can see the paranoia, 2 360s as he's convinced there has to be somewhat of a loose thread outside of that A take. And look at this restraint. He could dig himself out of this. It's down to timing. JKS, that's the call and the shot. Great precision. Now into the site they go. Smoke, no kit. That's a problem. Nexa does have that Kevlar, and he will be pushing in, and Hunter's the one to find the first. Nexa the second time, however, becoming an issue. JKS, he's been the hero, and he has to do so much more in the smoke. Tap, 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 and he's done it. Zips up the body bag and secures the first.
Wow, that couldn't have been closer there. JKS taking on a 15 points of help at the start of the round, has to hold towards lower B.
What a hero.
You know exactly where he is. The smoke goes down on the bomb. They thought they were done for there, but JKS comes up valiantly up towards a short position, finds the first kill, and then it's just a matter of luck at that point, tapping through the smoke, hoping for the best, but every bullet connected.
Yeah, he wasn't falling into the trap of trying to unload that clip.
Indeed.
He did manage to maintain his restraint, keep those bullets accurate, and just commit to his blind guess in that smoke. Grab straight through, and already Jacob has drawn blood. Kenny's gone. Jack's forced to think about his choice, because now he's locked in with very low HP and only a sidearm to keep him company. Now Flames as well, warming just a little bit, keeping his hands toasty for a second before sent ice cold by the New Zealand AWPer, this time with a MAC-10. 3 versus 5. 2 bodies already dropped, and so it's just going to be a question of not only completing this round, but doing so neat and tidy. And that Amanek scout still poses a threat.
Absolutely does, especially in this position here. Throws a grenade towards the pit position, a very effective one as well. Lands in the pocket of Jacob there. And they've got 5 players in the long position right now. They've got plenty of time to reposition as they make their way towards T-spawn. As they're aware of the fact that this team likes to push, they could be in towards that position if possible, but unfortunately for G2, they've held up. Still a 5 on 3. Smoke down towards Xbox, makes it a bit more problematic for Nexa. So does the flashbang. He needs at least 2 kills to have a chance in the round. There's the first, not bad at all. There's the second, it's working out. Let's go, Nexa! My goodness gracious me, he's pulled it off. We said he needs 2, he somehow gets 4.
I just squealed like a pig. Satisfaction. He's going to have a go, and he still has a real shot at this one. That's his second of the round. He has to get another 2. Bomb not yet in his grasp, and Amanek will be the one to defend it. There is an arsenal of weapons on the catwalk that they've been able to pick and choose from. But that bomb does look like it should be able to be retrieved completely safely. They've chosen not to contest it. Instead, they've got Nexa not only with the AK, he's hunting the ace. And on the cross, he has to be precise, and Nexa, not only is an in-game leader, but a fragger as well. He does it all, and a kiss sayonara as he secures the second immediately, taking back control of their map pick.
Yeah, Nexa just steals the round away from 100 Thieves, hand over fist here. This is an unbelievable play with the Desert Eagle. Look at him go, 1 by 1. Another catastrophic failure there for the Australians. They had plenty of those on Mirage. They can't even believe it on the G2 side, Alex.
His team just going wild, and you can see this deadpan Nexa, eyes on the crosshair. Wow.
That's insane.
Well, I've got goosebumps. And it's round 3 of our second map of our final series. Day 1 of IEM Katowice, and it's the first time, of course, part of the ESL Pro Tour. Lots of cogs in this machine, and now the 100 Thieves T side does seem to be setting their sights on a... Actually, they've got a fair share of utility. This won't be dry.
5
Mildly
players,
moist, perhaps.
Yeah, indeed. 5 players at short. They're going to execute the best they can and try and nullify Kenny S, but he hasn't got an AWP pal. He's got the MP9. It's a scrappy weapon and a scrappy round here. They're going to make their way out. The flashbang's not really that effective. He throws one out himself, and he's looking for a couple of kills here, but the Desert Eagle has now found a lot of kills. I think that's 5 in the last 2, as we'll see Jacob recover. The MP9 at least to get the bomb planted. It's Jax towards long, and this doesn't look good for G2 actually. That would be considering their options. They've got to do a very quick retake here towards shore, where there are 3 players residing.
Yeah, it's going to be about timing. You see, Azza wants to try and bring that fight early. Hunter actually quite smartly just immediately rips his mousepad down. He wants to try and create the illusion that he's not there. Now aggressing. Nexus nade connects, but it's all good for the Thieves. Double kill. Nexus not again, surely. Just 2. That should be enough. 1 versus 1. Liaz to defend this bomb. Time really becoming a factor for Jax. He can't stick it. Opts to try and draw him away, does have the kit. Liaz just wants to get the info. He gets more than he bargained for, but it's the frag he needs. 2-1.
Wow. Okay, back and forth we go. It's 100 Thieves dishing out equal treatment there with the Desert Eagles, managing to get up towards shore and holding strong at the steps position as well in the post plant there. It's all about that opening frag on the A side. If Kenny's gets one, it's probably a very different round here, but here's Liaz closing things out. Ooh, had to snap onto the head there very quickly indeed, but G2 will be back in the force by position themselves. CZs and Deagles, I'm sure Nexa has got himself a pistol, but he's gone for the MP9 instead as Kenny S and Jax made their way towards long. Did get any damage off? Certainly did. The Desert Eagle connects once again this time. And it's Kenny S wielding it, and they've fallen right back. So they've got an opening frag, and like, well, that will do. There's actually flame damage being inflicted towards Gratisfaction as well. He's taken down a 36. And once again, every player of 100 Thieves towards long.
I'd love to see that one again from Grat's POV, because from the minimap it looked like there was a smoke in the long doors. Perhaps it was one of those half Molotov extinguished, half still there,
I think
and Grat
exactly
got caught out.
Yeah. Sounded about that. There's a smoke in that position. So what have they got left? They've got long control, nowhere else on the map, and we know what G2 are like. They are not going to be that faithful in the fact they can just fall back and have an open map for themselves. Gratisfaction will be the back of the pack right now. Looks like they're committing towards long. They've already thrown a couple of smokes towards a crossover here, so they're going to have to commit, Alex, and just go for this.
Yeah, there isn't too much of a curveball in the G2 side, so it's just going to come down to raw duels. And the weaponry certainly favors 100 Thieves, but good damage inflicted, chipping away. Gratisfaction, he was cut down to 36 earlier, and that does put him in the 1 Deeg territory. Of course, precision puts everyone in the 1 Deeg territory. Nades landing, chipping away, a nade this time onto the noggin of Liaz, puts just 2 remaining. Grat's already low from that Molotov oopsie. Now JKS has caught a bullet, and G2, they're making this one look relatively painless. Just JKS, he's gone, and they equalize.
Well, well, well. It will be G2 with a very clean response. They are looking like a well-oiled machine right now, as we'll see them recover AK-47s and M4 as well, and keep 4 players alive there. Excellent work. The grenades especially. This HEs was just so punishing towards the A side. They didn't even see anyone before they'd lost about 300 damage.
Yeah, and then you even see full blood drawn. Liaz losing his life eventually, but that was after a relentless barrage of utility landing towards that A site, despite not necessarily having anyone on it. I mean, G2, they played retake with nothing. I mean, just that actual damage wasn't so much utility as it was HEs.
Well, 100 Thieves need to work out why they're keeping 5 players along so often and then for such a massive amount of time as well. The fact they've been locked in that position, they can't fall back, they're fully committed, knowing that the CTs could be towards top and middle, it simply won't do, unfortunately, as they'll have to be the ones that take the full eco first. They're going for a B approach, which makes sense. You can see G2 compensating for that. They've actually predicted this quite nicely. 3 players ready and waiting the B side, giving up middle, and the aim of the game is just don't give your frag away. They can plant the bomb, more than likely going to win the round. They shouldn't have much more than a few P250s at the very top end here. It adds over Deagle armor. Once again, 5 players together, heading up towards shore. Kenny S will be defending this time with the M4 instead of the MP9. No HEs or incendiaries to really slow them down, but like I said, planting the bomb they're going to buy up next round, it's not a huge deal. Let them get it down, make sure you keep the round clean.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we were having explained to us by Chad, or we can use this as an opportunity to explain it. In situations like this where the control on the bomb had gone down, the reaction that he was displaying was the aggression from Jax and Kenny. They push back around middle. Kenny can then AWP on long. And we'll see if that does show its head throughout this defensive half of G2. For now, though, rather open and shut case. The bomb does go down, but it's cleaning up the clocks. Nice and easy. Amanek catching 2 towards CT. JKS perhaps trying to find a consolation frag, but Hunter's having absolutely none of it.
Yeah, they try to make it a little bit more difficult. The only player without a kit they're defusing, but it's all absolutely fine. Like I said, getting the bomb down there, it's great for 100 Thieves, but not a massive deal for G2. They'll be buying up regardless. They've kept 5 players alive and well. As we enter round number 6 here, it's currently 3-2 in favor of G2, and Dust2, it's their pick. They're looking good so far. Kenny S, disciplined as ever, making sure that he stays alive, landing shots. People think he's a one-trick pony, but his rifle is very clean.
Certainly does seem to be something that he's developed, though, throughout his career. He was, I think that one-trick pony tag was developed as he burst onto the scene with his flamboyant AWPing, but he's certainly refined and grown in that G2 jersey, and certainly the life cycle of G2. I mean, this is a very different looking team.
So now they've lost long control. So what's the reaction here? Are they going to be pushing towards middle? They've actually boosted Kenny Est up towards short. I thought they did. He's actually in CT spawn. Looks like a boost was coming through. So they've just decided to fall back, allow them to have long. This is normally where you'll see them push towards upper B. You can see Nexodus there, being inquisitive towards middle. He's actually got full control. Once again, Alex, look, 5 players from 100 Thieves, meaning they are committed towards long now. They have no idea what's going on elsewhere on the map. They want to fall back. Nex is going to get at least a kill.
This does feel very reminiscent of Mirage, a similar circumstances of very early into the round having one idea and one idea only.
Yeah, this is a real tough spot now. Your only options are, at this point, you either smoke CT spawn and crossover together or double smoke the crossover and flash at this point. But you can see G2 are so ready for this. They've sent Amanek back towards B. He's alone on that side of the map. They've got 4 towards A. 100 Thieves cannot fall back. They have to commit to this.
And there's 4 members of G2 chomping at the bit to start this party. And Jax, he's got the party popper. That's the first, and looking for the second. Immediately traded. They need more than that, though, but with back turn. Liaz goes down. JKS with a double. He needs another, though, and he finds it. A triple into the site just to keep it competitive. Bomb loose. They can't retrieve it. The flash enables them to do so. Aggression again. JKS, he's on for the ace. He's done everything his team needed, and then some. Bomb going down, but so does their health. That nade was ridiculous, and Amanek's not done. Their eye drawn.
Does Grad not hear him?
He must have heard the step. Grat indicates he might just present himself and already the first and the second! Amanek is a beast! Nades, AKs, UMPs, I don't care. He'll do it bare-fisted. He's got another round on the board for G2.
He made so many audible cues there towards the A ramp. It looked like he knew he was done for there, so he's just trying to bait one of them out of position. But Gratisfaction didn't look like he was even looking in that direction. He jumps up and offers himself as the final frag there. The first one, fair play. But the second, it's questionable as to how he didn't hear him there. But still, it's Amanek with another show-stopping performance here in round number 6. With JKS on for the ace, as he mentioned. Finally, one of the stars showing up for 100 Thieves, and he's sent packing in the interaction here of the 2 versus 1. That was the kill. That should be the round. That's it. That's the kill there. But Amanek, they heard him. There were footsteps. We were on his POV. They must not have got the memo as Gratisfaction, both low. And again, it's that HE that's punishing them so much. They get the bomb down, but it lands in their pockets. Does about 50 damage to both, and the round falls apart. It will be 4-2.
I wouldn't be surprised if G2 Esports have been spending quite a bit of time just making sure that their nades are actually going where they think they're going, because it does seem to be a real refined lineup. Doesn't matter which side of the map they're playing this retake from, there is a way to push that, because it's such, I mean, you are always going to, on that after plant, going to have someone present on that bomb box, right? Every single time we've seen 100 Thieves in control of that area of the map, we've seen nades landing on their heads. And no difference in the round prior from Amanek.
They've got to address this whole long situation as well. I don't like it. The long control aspect is great, but keeping 5 players there, like for 3 rounds now, and sending all 5 up, you can see how telegraphed that was. Like it's crazy. As they'll go for a B-side approach here, but G2, after the technical or the tactical time, I should say, they're like, well, they're going to adjust. They'll probably try a different approach here. They have a new B bomb site. That's just been opened up, those skyboxes. Maybe they'll explore their opportunities towards that side of the map here. Will be a B split, but looks things an initial Molotov to flush out anyone close range, but the CT setup is brutal here. 3 inside the side. Next, patrolling towards middle from the double doors. There's a Molotov towards the opening just to flush anyone else out, but no one there. And once again, no presence towards A at all. So we'll see whether this ruffles the feathers of G2 at all. There is a chance.
Certainly is, and in they go. The first looking good for the CT side. Nexa and Hunter, finally, one goes down, but the round is over. Kenny with a collat to finish, I think.
Yeah, from CT spawn,
Not
over the
too
smoke.
Shabby. You can see his face was just kind of a little baffled, a little surprised to see the round end on the pull of his trigger. But it's 5-2 on our second map of this series, and already the first flew by. Need I remind you, a 16-3 scoreline. In fact, I got to catch a glimpse of Hunter actually predicting it on the HLTV Instagram stories. He said, told you, 16-3. That's how confident they were coming into this one.
Goodness gracious. Well, round 8. Another difficult buy for 100 Thieves here. The Galil out for JKS. The shots he's hitting, he probably wanted one of these AKs. It's as though it goes with the Krieg. Currently set on 2 and 7.
It's slow, Henry, and that's not all stacked up. A default this time from 100 Thieves.
Let's see whether they can make this one work. Very standard setup from G2 as well. Amanek and Hunter back in that B-bomb side next up. In his transition position towards CD spawn /A.
Interesting. Can we look at that B setup again, just for a second? This is something similar to what Astralis were doing on Inferno. They're like their pool setup where they had like glaive and zip, like one crouch, one stand. It's very, very retro. Very like the Musketeers, the Redcoats.
Well, in terms of control now, 100 Thieves again found a good amount of it. They've got short under their remit right now. They still have the majority of their utility, at least in terms of smokes. But what's the call here? You can see towards long. Jax is tucked in towards those long doors. Kenny S, with his presence towards the corner as well, it's going to be difficult to flush this setup out. And they're actually going towards that side of the map as well. Jacob and JKS are towards short. And this incendiaries is perfect, isn't it? With 35 seconds as well, you've just dropped that on them and the bombs there. They're going to have a rough round.
Yeah, that couldn't get any worse. In fact, you know what? I've spoken too soon because the chances are Kenny gets one, your attention's drawn, and Jax can swing. They're looking for Kenny, and now Jax can get the first, Kenny for the second, and now with just 20 seconds left, 100 Thieves are left reeling. What can you do in short when the bomb is in long? They have to shut him down, and Kenny, he does have his attention drawn, and now the frag, such a crucial frag from Azza. Does he have the time? Knife out, no chance. Nexus still on the site and does get the frag, but no time. That will be another for G2. Azza, despite his best efforts, he really did manage to make it a chance after the fumble. And a fantastic Molotov from Kenny. That round looks a whole lot different if they get an extra 7 seconds at the start of that take.
Well, there we have it. It's a slow approach from 100 Thieves, but it comes back to bite them in the arse, unfortunately, running out of time there towards the end. A very viable round for them towards the end of it, as they left in the 1 versus 1, but as you mentioned, just no time on the clock there. Great work, and they were almost rumbled there towards long as well. Just as Kenny pulls out the flashbang to investigate that long position, that's when they committed. So they got a chance there, but an equal trade there from Jax. Kenny S managing to hold them off. We'll get into another Deagle round here for the Australians. It's going to be 6-2 overall. Round 9, and in terms of their setup, they've got 3 smokes, a few flashbangs, 2 players of our armor, 2 players of our anything at all, to be honest with you. Azza and Gratiffaction limp into the round with just Glocks. And we'll see whether Gratifaction's position can actually do anything for them here. They've confirmed that at least middle's clear. No one's spotting it. Got it towards short again, but next up, we're sitting on the A round, but he's still got a full array of utility, Alex. That's the incendiary, the smoke, the flashbang. He's going to hold them off as long as he possibly can here.
And it seems like G2 have got the cavalry exactly where they needed to be.
They're reading them so well right now.
Yeah, Kenny's there as soon as they arrive. And now the Molotov does too. It will perhaps be the run boost hero, or perhaps just a boost over the smoke. A chance to take the head off Nexa, but no haircuts today. Nexa's growing his hair out. 16-5, the man's on a mission. The shining fragging presence so far from 100 Thieves has been JKS. Let's not forget that quad kill that they didn't manage to convert.
Yeah, they're just really struggling with this whole, like, we'll all just stick together and see what we can do. It's fine on this sort of round, but I've seen so many on Dust 2 at this point. Doesn't suggest they're going to be doing a whole lot with this T side as they meet their logical conclusion here. It's Nexa just gun them all down. A consolation frag there for JKS. Can he do anything more with it? Time will tell. He has got the bomb on his back. A plant would be welcome to this point. There's a maximum loss bonus here. A shot gets a couple. That would do, but it's still going to be 7-2 overall. You can see Kenny S smile on his face as he lands that final shot there. Money starting to build up quite nicely on the CT side. Same story for 100 Thieves though, but need to start posting some rounds here. This cannot continue. Remember, they've won the pistol again, like did the Mirage, and the 3rd round as well, but that's all they've picked up so far. Not a single gun round under their control. Oh. And so far, from a tactical point of view, really not feeling it, Alex. Really not enjoying what they're putting down right now.
If you had to kind of summarize it in a succinct way, is it as simple as just giving too much of the map to G2?
I think so. It looks like they're playing like almost scared of their opposition. They've been rumbled on Mirage, they've been flanked so much, and now they've just got that in their head. The retake towards the long position coming through, and Jax just mows them down with the M4. It still could be an even situation here. They know he's at the blue bin at this point. He's trying to get the utility down, but surely Azza will get him. Oh, it's so scrappy and awkward here, but Gratiffaction still fighting tooth and nail. Needs to get this kill though. Is there a chance? He's running out of bullets here at the M4, trying to finish things off. Not going to happen. The opportunity slams shut, and now it's down to JKS, who does a little bit of damage, but that's about it. Impressive scenes from G2. They are in the perfect setup every single time for whatever 100 Thieves throw at them.
Lovely work from Jax, and stark contrast as we jump to the 100 Thieves cam. It's their first timeout of the 2nd map. Their opponent's pick, but as we've already been highlighting, and I don't think it needs to be repeated, it's not going swimmingly. The only shining light, and just to reiterate and to back it up with some numbers, is JKS. He's on 12, but the next highest is 6 from Azza. And that's when Azza is, towards the top of the scoreboard, perhaps not in this context, it's never a good sign. You've got Liaz, Gratiffaction, Jacob, and JKS around him.
Let's we talked about the HEs a lot. Let's have a look at the numbers for that as well. Amanek, after 10 rounds of play, has 297 utility damage.
Huh?
I have never seen anything
That's like
that.
3 kills worth of damage.
I don't know what the records are with the utility damage, but that seems insane. Like, if I finished a whole map with like 300 damage, I've had a godlike performance.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's insane. He's got 300 within 10 rounds.
Okay, now that is an observation. Let's keep our eye on that as well as this as this CT half.
Ooh, there's more.
Speak of the devil, who was it? This time it's Azza who gets a chunk of shrapnel lodged in his 100 Thieves jersey. Again, they gather. Limited weaponry and utility. We saw them try the Vanguard smokes. Won't be happening this time. Just the one, this attack in the hands of Jacob. It's another nade and a bullet from Kenny. And no, not another! Oh, it's getting worse and worse as utility damage gets better and better for G2.
Yeah, they're really stepping up in every facet of the game so far.
So good.
Yeah, and it's JKS hoping to get a deagle kill here, but doesn't nail the one ball. And at this point, Hunter just laughing. He's having a good time out there. Gratisfaction certainly not. 5 versus 1. And they know exactly where he is. 3-piece there for Hunter to close things out. It's going to be 5 players surviving once again. They have barely broken a sweat here. This is insane.
It does really feel like G2 have ascended to a whole new breed from what we've previously expected from the organization. 2020 certainly looking bright. Look at this from Kenny as well. I mean, what is he working with there? I'm pretty sure if I counted the pixels, I could on one hand of what he could see of Liaz. Incredible shot.
Yeah. Just to talk on that utility point again, just the average damage per player on most maps are like 5 per round, right? He's averaging 30 at this point.
That's
so
a great way to contextualize it.
So there you go. And Gratisfaction finally, okay, an opening pick. This is the problem now. When you do have these really successful halves, you can get carried away. A pick from CT side towards T-Spawn, it doesn't normally work out, but he's feeling it. He wants to really put his foot on the throat of 100 Thieves there and hit the response. Pushing towards upper B. We haven't seen much of this reactive play so far, but the bomb goes down. Not like this.
Solo with the bomb. It was supposed to be a bit of a pocket strat, and now full control for G2, and they look to contest it. They actually want to fight this. Unfortunately for them, though, full blind, low HP, and they stand their ground. Hunter's going to clean up! Oh, no! Oh, bad to worse!
I love it. This is amazing from G2.
Phenomenal shots! How do they get that? Hunter had like 20 HP. He hits the double. They have Amanek first to take the contact. They know he's going to be a little healthier, perhaps last a little longer. I'd love to see that again. They're both posturing. This is Gratisfaction's damage.
Okay, those tools long, not T-Spawn.
Okay, nice. So that's a quick opening. Full blind, no less. Oh, didn't he? You barely saw them. A shoulder of Liaz finds the head. Does Jax need any more room for his keyboard? Jesus Christ. We're off. Round 13.
Boys.
And
nothing else is working.
Rush B on round 13. Rather appropriate because the nade damage has done half the work and it seems like Hunter's going to do the rest. Triple kill, quad kill, and not quite the ace because Justin Savage living up to his surname. Now with 2 to find, he has been so good for the 100 Thieves, and I'm saying that, of course, with a wry smile on my face. Just 2 rounds posted, but even some of his best performances this map haven't always netted the rounds. To fake it out.
So this is very good from G2. You can notice that they're not taking bait or running towards a bomb site here. They're trying to group up together. They can even let him go towards A. That's fine. They still have an advantage here. With JKS not planting and still firing off shots, they can make a pretty safe bet that he's still towards B here. JKS waiting for an opportunity. He keeps going for the fake plan. But like I said, them together, even if he does nail a great shot, it's not going to matter. Really well played from G2. They haven't made really any mistakes in this series so far. It's been fantastic.
And that's not something I hear Henry G say to
me. I know, right?
Commentary.
I was trying to think back, have there been any blunders? But to be fair, like, 100 Thieves have made their fair share of mistakes, but this is another level of G2. Like, they keep getting better every tournament we see them at.
Yeah, this was so neat and tidy as well. Before they even got out of the site, half of them were working with 60 HP. JKS did wonderful to even give them a chance into the site.
Again, just if you're arriving on the stream just now, 100 Thieves have won the pistol in the 3rd round. That is it. Not a single gun run under their control at all. 3 towards B this time. Gratisfaction, 5 kills to his name. He's had a couple of openers, though. Another HE that inflicts damage at the start, gives up their position as well. The incendiary on the right. Gratisfaction.
He has to cross.
He has to. You're right. And he goes down. This is a nightmare.
Oh, and it could go even worse. Yeah,
no.
It's 2. And Jacob sweating on the brow with just 2 HP to his name. He's still got a full set of util. He's going to want to try and get that out before he falls, give his team the best shot they have. Bomb in his grasp as well. He is the president, and they need to protect him. Azza and Liaz nowhere near him for now, but things will slow down. Only for a moment. Kenny looking to aggress on the doors. He may very well catch the barrel of Azza. He hits Liaz on the descent. Nexa quick onto Azza as well, and now Jacob called him the president. Well, with just 2 HP and an AWP, 4 to find. I'm not quite sure he can protect himself.
Good luck, Jacob.
Yeah, GLHF.
That's all I'm going to say at this point. They've tried every. This is very similar to Mirage. They've tried every strategy they have available to them. No one's really turning up. This time at least they have JKS, but it hasn't equated to a round victory at all. He's got himself down to some really key situations, a couple of 1v1s, but hasn't been able to convert them. He's got, what, 15 kills to his name right now? 15 and 13. The closest on his team right now is Azza, who's at the bottom of the scoreboard. Funnily enough, is 7 and 14. Everyone else is at 5-5. Leah's at 4 and 13. One of the stars of this team. I haven't really said his name in this series at all. I could have.
I think he got killed by Kenny. I said his name, but
yeah.
No. Jokes aside, it is more of a praise towards G2 than anything else. 100 Thieves. They've pulled every page out of the playbook, and now I think they're just working on a blank page, getting the Byro out mid-round.
Yo, his utility damage is now 378. Amanek, there is before the first half's even completed. 378 utility damage. That is remarkable. Someone needs to start crunching the numbers. This got to be on for some sort of record.
There is no doubt, especially considering we're not even halfway through this map. Jacob does find a way in for 100 Thieves. One of the 2 AKs in play for his squad, and he's had to take a bit of initiative and a bit of an aggressive push. That's going to give them a way in. The A site is completely barren. Nexa and Jax, this is what Chad was talking about, will recede into the pit, but with Kenny gone, there is no AWP for that cross. Instead, it's Amanek and Hunter that make their way across towards CT.
So this will be more of a retake setup here from the G2 forces. They're aware the short's gone through, but yes, HEs are still available. Admittedly, not a ton of them. There's just 1 more remaining. 2, actually, with Nexa there. So here they come. They're trying to avoid the best they can to get that bomb down first. But now they've got no utility on the T side. The headshot's starting to be delivered here. Hunter, such a beast at his A-round position. You can see he knows exactly what's going on, waiting for the flashbangs from his teammates here. Doesn't miss a beat. This guy has played such an astonishing half on Dust 2 here. It's a foregone conclusion. The round is done. So is the half. 13-2 as G2 look absolutely unstoppable at this point. What a performance so far. Surely it's all said and done. Utility damage there a lot. Amanek finishes the half with 420 damage. He's blazing ahead there, Alex. Woo! He is doing a fantastic job in that department. As we get into the pistol here, Kenny S gets a bullet to the face. Didn't see that too often. He doesn't get taken down, but he certainly receives a lot of damage there. Gratisfaction can deal out equal treatment here towards the lower B position. We saw this in the first half as well. Remember, 100 Thieves actually won the majority of the pistols so far. They've looked great in these rounds.
It's a good
more
point.
Of this.
Very good point. 50% of their rounds in the first half were pistol rounds, actually.
Yup.
Keep our eyes on this one. Next, we'll be flashing the doors. Looks like it could be a double pump, though. They use the first just to force it into a 1v1, and a second to follow. Never mind, no flash necessary, as Jax's Glock initiates what could very well be one of the last rounds of this series. Looking to change things, though, is Gratisfaction. He's tucked in on the wall, forced off by the aggression of Jax, and he just stands in the middle of nowhere, gets the burst. Gratisfaction falls eventually to the relentless clicks of Amanek, and all onto Jacob. A 1 versus 3 very early into this round, and the bomb yet to cross.
He would have to find 50% of his total frags at this point to even win the round, and, well, doesn't even get close. It will be Amanek to close things out there. One of the few pistols G2 have found might be enough just to close things out here. As you see, the Max 7 instantaneously bought by Jacob. They're the scouts as well. And 2 very disappointing maps here from 100 Thieves so far. Remember, this is the opening game of Group B, right? Yeah. So they're not out of the tournament. We have best of 3s throughout at this point. But still, not a good way to kick off the tournament, for sure.
No, but I will start theory crafting that G2 Mouse Sports game, should it happen tomorrow, would be ridiculous.
That's true. That's the next round, isn't it? That's
winner of this will meet Mouse Sports.
And they've got a bit of a rivalry building up. They've played a lot as well. That's great. And most notably, I suppose, at Summit in 2019, where they lost to the coach playing and a stand-in, so they probably want a bit of revenge there.
There's definitely something there. I seem to remember Carrigan saying goodbye to us mid-game.
Yeah. That's such a funny fact that actually went down.
He was like watching it on the plane saying, wait, what?
They won the tournament.
We won? He's never won a tournament not at the event before, but he did. Anyway, into round 17. Yet to see any early damage inflicted towards the Thieves. A 3-2 split of their resources.
So, Desert Eagles. 1 Scouts and a Mag 7. Not the most compelling setup, I'll say that much, but teams have done a lot more with a lot less in the past. As it waits towards short. Gratisfaction just beneath him as well, like directly. There we go. We can see whether this works out for them. They're hoping to get a scout tag and then a deagle hit the body shot, but doesn't really work out for them. That's full control towards short for G2 at this point. They had a right opening pick there, 100 Thieves, that is. What's left on the French side? We have got 3 smokes, make it 4. Mac 10s as we've thrown in with a few smokes behind them. That looks pretty good to me.
This could be those Mac 10s bounding towards you, and then you've got Jax with an AK to come clean up what remains. Azza, just the scout, has to find more than one tag, perhaps even the frag. Hunter's low, down to 8, but Amanek emerges out of the smoke, a gap he manufactured, and now he's got not only the double, but he can just slither away and celebrate as the 15th will be secured by his comrades. 2 hiding, keeping hold of what little they brought into the round. It's a Mag 7 and a Deagle, respectively. The double J's. And speaking of J's, is he still on 420?
He is still on 420. Amanek, he's slowed down a little bit here, but Jacob starting to wake up maybe a little bit too late at this point, I'm afraid. There's the shotgun towards lower B, and he'll get himself $900 extra for that kill, but at this point, it's serious point, Alex. So he's possibly been casting this game for around 20 minutes.
Imagine if this was the new record, though. Just thug life, gamer moments. The new utility damage record could very well
I
be
feel like we're only starting to take notice to that sort of utility damage stat in the last couple of years. Like Astralis really kind of showed the way on Inferno, how to use those HEs on the CT side. Now you can see it becoming a massive part of the game at this point. It's really interesting to see how pivotal the HEs can be, and that kind of says it all. Kassad not having a good time today. They have not turned up in really any department of Counter-Strike. The strategies have looked off. The individuals are not really there. No one with big numbers. JKS is still on 15 and 15. We've got Liaz, a name who really had his swan song in 2019. Looked fantastic for the squad. He's on 5 and 16. One of the star players for sure.
So that typical question of, is this G2 playing incredibly well or 100 Thieves underperforming? The answer this time is both.
Unfortunately, both. Yeah, it looks really bad. It's not as bad as it quite seems, I suppose. 100 Thieves haven't. This is not the team we're used to. This is a really off day for them, and G2 are peaking, which is great for them. But 100 Thieves aren't doing themselves any favors from a tactical point of view, that's for sure. And we'll see whether they can hold on. It's the same thing we said on Mirage, right? He said we need 12 rounds in a row. Now they need 13. Just take us to overtime. It's even worse than Mirage. I didn't think that was possible.
I'm not sure G2 did either. Impressing themselves. Last chance saloon then for 100 Thieves.
At this point, it feels like a formality.
Yeah, certainly. And Jax, he's got his formal attire on. Bow tie and all, penguin suit.
Have you ever worn a tuxedo?
Could you imagine me in a tuxedo?
No, that's why I asked.
Yeah, prom.
I think that's the only time I've worn one as well.
Yeah.
Didn't have a date, of course, but
I think I actually got
still
dumped.
went.
I got dumped at prom.
Did
so,
you?
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That's interesting. We should dive into that in the podcast sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should.
You got dumped at the prom.
Sophie, shout out to you. 40 seconds, let's get this party started. It does actually seem that with this boost over the smoke, I thought we were going to get a run boost with that Mac 10, but instead, it does just seem like it's all bells and whistles. They pulled a CT to react, and now they dive through middle. It's so well coordinated. There's only one man on B now. Just the steps, the smoke was enough. And now not only a Molotov, but a smoke, and then players charging through the smoke is JKS. He does manage to get one. That's actually superb, considering the time on the clock. There's 13 seconds. If they don't start that plant now, they could be contested by that Tons player. Who is it? Oh, he's got a Mag 7.
Yeah, not the best weapon defense for fully equipped G2 players. It looks like all will be said and done at this point. We've got shotguns for Masters and a scout. That player's going down to satisfaction. It leaves us just Jacob here. I'm sorry, this game hasn't delivered. This series hasn't been the best, but you've got to respect what G2 are doing right now. What a great performance that was, Alex.
Yeah, and you know what? I disagree. It delivers in a different way, though. We get to see the nades from not only just Amanek, but G2 as a